Malta, a small island in the heart of the Mediterranean with a rich history that spans thousands of years. But did you know that one of the most important chapters of its history began with a shipwreck? Today we're diving into one of the most famous stories from Malta's past, the arrival of St. Paul the Apostle after he was shipwrecked here nearly 2,000 years ago. What followed this shipwreck would change Malta forever. But it's not just about history. There are legends, prophecies, and miracles that still echo through the island today. It was around 60 AD, and St. Paul was a prisoner on a ship heading for Rome, where he was to stand trial for his Christian faith. But disaster struck when a violent storm battered the ship for days. Despite the sailors' best efforts, the ship was destroyed, and the crew and passengers were left stranded on an unknown island. That island was Malta, an island that had not yet been touched by Christianity. The shipwreck left Paul and the other survivors clinging to their lives. But little did they know, their fate was about to be forever intertwined with this small island. According to the Acts of the Apostles, the islanders, described as barbarians in the text, greeted the survivors with warmth and kindness, offering them shelter, food, and fire to warm them in the cold. While gathering firewood, Paul was bitten by a venomous snake. The locals witnessing this expected him to die. After all, the venomous serpent was deadly. But Paul shook the snake off into the fire, and to everyone's amazement, he was unharmed. This miracle led the people of Malta to believe that Paul was no ordinary man. Some even thought he was a god, sent to them by divine intervention. And the miracles didn't stop there. Soon after, Paul was invited to the home of Publius, the chief official of the island. Publius's father was gravely ill with fever and dysentery. Paul prayed over him, and miraculously, the man was healed. Out of gratitude, Publius and the people of Malta treated Paul and his companions with great hospitality, and the apostle continued to preach and heal during his stay. It's said that Paul remained on the island for 3 months, spreading Christianity and performing even more miracles. These events would go on to shape the very foundations of Christian faith in Malta. But over the centuries, the story of St. Paul's shipwreck became wrapped in local legend. Some tales suggest that the snake that bit Paul wasn't just a random creature. According to one legend, a sorcerer on the island sent the snake to destroy Paul. But it failed, showing that the apostle was under divine protection. Today, you can still find a statue of St. Paul in Malta, holding the snake as a symbol of his divine protection over the island. Another legend says that St. Paul took refuge in a grotto during his time on the island. This grotto, known as St. Paul's Grotto in Rabat, has become a place of pilgrimage for Christians and is an enduring symbol of the apostles' time here. But there's more. One popular tale goes that as Paul stayed in Malta, he prophesied that the island would become a refuge for the Christian faith and that its people would thrive under God's protection. It's said that he foretold Malta's strategic importance as a crossroads for trade and culture in the Mediterranean. Some even believe that St. Paul's prophecy played a role in Malta's rise to become a safe haven for Christians during the early days of the faith, especially during the rise of the Roman Empire. There's also a tale that the islanders, referred to as barbarians by Paul's contemporaries, were actually deeply in tune with God's will long before Paul arrived. The locals had been waiting for the arrival of a divine messenger to guide them in their faith, and when Paul washed up on their shores, they recognized him as the one foretold. Legend says that these people weren't truly barbarians at all. Rather, they were a humble, peaceful people who had been waiting for the light of Christianity to come to them, and that's exactly what happened when Paul arrived. St. Paul's stay on the island wasn't just about healing and prophecy, it set in motion the transformation of Malta into one of the earliest strongholds of Christianity. As the centuries passed, Malta became a place where Christians found refuge, where faith flourished, and where the teachings of Paul were carried through generations. And the legacy of Paul is still visible today in places like St. Paul's Shipwreck Church in Valletta and St. Publius Church in Floriana, both of which honor the profound impact Paul had on Malta's Christian identity. Every year, Malta celebrates St. Paul's feast day on February 10th, where processions, feasts, and celebrations bring the community together to remember the apostle who changed their island forever. From a shipwreck to a prophecy that would guide Malta through centuries of faith and history, the story of St. Paul is one of divine intervention, miracles, and the unshakable power of belief. His time in Malta is remembered not just in books or scripture, but in the very heart of the island, in its churches, its festivals, and in the legends that continue to be passed down through generations. So the next time you visit Malta, take a moment to remember the incredible story of St. Paul, whose arrival on this island changed it forever. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories of history, legends, and adventure. See you in the next video.